Hi everyone, this is Koinzell here. So today I have for you guys the Math Guide 8. So for Math Guide itself, instead of doing a weapon comparison, I wanted to do a HP versus Hydro versus Crit main stat comparison because I may not have the time to do a full weapon comparison video today. And it's the weekend, so weekend is my baby duty time. So much harder for me to do math or any YouTube guides for the matter. But I do try to do more so that at least it will be ready on Monday. Okay? Now, first off, let's talk about HP versus Hydro versus Crit. When following that, we'll do the actual comparison, and I'll touch on why there are videos showing HP builds dealing same or higher damage than Crit builds, and Yelan video series. Okay, what's coming next? You guys should know, but there's a slight difference here, and I'll talk more about it later. So there are videos out there that are somehow showing HP to be better than Hydro slash Crit, but if you really notice the CR there, you'll know what is going on. And to be honest, if you know how damage formula works in Genshin, no way is better than Crit in terms of overall DPS. For Hydro, it's dependent on how many other sources of damage bonus you have, but you need a lot. We are talking about 130 to 150% for Hydro to be on par with HP or attack percent. When I'm saying on par, I'm not saying better. Okay? So in other words, diminishing returns for damage bonus does not really matter until you go beyond 130 to 150% damage bonus. So don't regurgitate this. You have to know when it starts mattering. Okay? Now I will do a comparison based on the artifact main stat permutations below along with their corresponding crit HP stats. Bear in mind that I'm doing more of a practical application of the CR/CD ratio, not exactly following the golden ratio. If I choose to follow the golden ratio strictly, the figures with the higher overall crit value will do even better versus HP on paper. That's on paper. These are the stats. You can pause if you want to. Obviously, between C0 and C1, the crit stats and HP stats, there will be some difference. Because you have to put stats into ER. Okay? And this should be easily understandable. And do bear in mind that I do compare like a very, very high HP value with very, very low CR. So let's look at the comparison result itself. Okay, look at this. And this. There's no change from the previous one, right? On the previous math guide, you see it's 1.81 million. This is the same figure. What is different here is the HP Hydro Crit, HP Crit, triple HP, HP Hydro HP, or triple HP with a low CR. Meaning you invest even more of your substats into HP. You don't just do main stat, even your substats go into HP. This is what this build is. Now let's look at the percentage difference. Honestly, unsurprisingly, HP Hydro Crit is the best build. Now, first off, let's talk Hydro versus HP Goblet, which is this, right? HP, the center word is replaced by HP versus Hydro. Even in a comp where you get damage bonuses from Kazuha and Raiden for your Q figures, Hydro Goblet is still 6 to 9% better. So in other words, if you have a perfect double crit HP Goblet at plus 20 versus a crap Hydro Goblet at plus 20, you can still use the HP Goblet as a stand-in until you get a better Hydro Goblet. Because Hydro Goblet is still better. A decent or average Hydro Goblet is still going to be better than a perfect double crit HP Goblet. Simple as that. Okay, so that's why I bring it up that it's absolutely crap versus a perfect piece. Then you can use it as a stand-in. Because Hydro Goblet is better. Because I even saw comments saying that HP Goblet is better. No, I'm sorry, but it's not. And as for full HP build, I've included two permutations, one with only the base HP rolls, one with heavy upgrades into HP through the substats, hitting 60 to 68k HP, where depending on whether you have R1, R5, or C4 effect. Both are worse than HP Hydro Crit, and the heavy upgrades into HP permutation is just horrible. Okay, it's here. Yeah, basically the HP Hydro Crit build is basically 33 to 45% better than the triple HP with low CR. If it's not low CR, it's still 15 to 18% better. So it is still better. And I even throw in a HP Hydro HP build, just permutate it for variety, yeah. This is the figure, it's about 6 to 8%. HP Hydro Crit is still better by 6 to 8%. Now, if Yelan has a support capability that depends on her max HP, then it may be worth considering sacrificing her damage for some support utility, but she doesn't. So HP Hydro Crit is still the way to go. Like for example, my Zhongli is a hybrid support slash dual DPS, sub DPS with his Meteor, and I am using this HP Hydro HP because I do have enough crit stats from my substats. So for Yelan, it's really simple. Okay, HP Hydro Crit is the way to go. Oh, and this is based on the VapeEC build, where you do not need as high of an ER, but if you have to invest in ER like VV Vape, I can tell you that the main stat difference of the Hydro and the Crit will pull ahead even more, because the impact of those main stat becomes bigger, right? Because a lot more of your substats are going to ER, not going to HP, not going to Crit. So having these two means that the impact is going to be even bigger. So I hope it's clear from this quick comparison that HP Hydro Crit is our best build. So why are there videos showing HP builds doing same or higher damage than crit builds then? You have to remember this, okay? It's likely that the figures, you have to take note of this, sorry, not remember. It's likely that the figures on HP builds you see are the lucky string of crit figures in a row. However, my DPS figures take into consideration the CR. So you can think of it this way. A low CR full HP build with similar CD to a crit build may hit harder than a crit build when it does crit, right? Because I mean, it's the same concept as doing a low CR full attack build versus with similar CD to a crit attack build. It's exactly the same concept. There's nothing new here. It's just that the bigger difference is slightly bigger because of how good Yelan, or rather the difference is slightly closer because of how good Yelan's HP scaling is. But you have to bear in mind that this is a kind of scenario where you hit harder when you actually crit, but the rate of crit actually happening is too low and inconsistent. So your overall DPS is actually much lower. Whatever figures that I have shown and whatever comparison I've done is already taking into your occurrence rate of your crit. It's just that when you look at a video in terms of actual damage figures, you may not notice it because most people only look at the crit figures. And if you manage to score a lucky string of continuous crits even with 50 CR, you do that and you do a comparison directly against a high CR video or demonstration, obviously it's going to make the HP build look good. But you gotta remember, as long as you know how the damage formula works, no way. Okay, so don't get hooked by misinformation out there. HP Hydro Crit is still the way to go. So with that being said, good luck with your farming, yeah? Yeah, I'm done. Like I said, this is a quick one. Okay, so artifact comparison completed, team comms completed, full HP versus crit build completed. Now, coming next, right, I should do a Favonius weapon comparison. I wanted to compare Favonius versus Sacrificial because I think there are a lot of schools of thought saying that Favonius is better than Sacrificial. I don't want to be adamant about either one. I'll let the math speak for itself when I eventually do the math for Favonius weapon. But based on what I can see, I would think that the Sacrificial is better. But it's okay. I'll show the actual math and the analysis. But I may actually do a Shinobu Math Guide 1 next to compare full EM versus full HP build on her, because I'm currently farming Tenacity. So I kind of need to know what to work on for my Shinobu. At the same time, I need to know what are the pieces I should keep. Okay, I need to know what are the artifact pieces that I should keep. Simple as that. And it will just be a Math Guide 1 for Shinobu. I won't go further to talk about her in the Ayato, Taser, etc. That will come only after Yelan series is completed. But I just want to do like a interlude or interset here where we just do one Shinobu Math Guide 1, just to compare full EM versus full HP. So that if you are also farming Tenacity like I am, because you're interested in using Yelan in either the Taser or the VapeEC comp, then you know it will be good to know what pieces to keep for Shinobu as well, or to look out for Shinobu as well. Yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do next. And weapon comparison, important thing here, okay? Just because I didn't list the weapon here doesn't necessarily mean I wouldn't do the math for it. The above is just to state a few examples. Obviously, there are more weapons that we can consider. But I will probably look at them, what weapons to do in further detail in future after we do the Shinobu Math Guide 1. Alright, so let me know in comments if there are any specific math you like, and better yet, join me over at Twitch where I answer almost every question there too. This is the Twitch link, the link is also in the description. I hope the content has been helpful to you. Today's video is very short, but I think most folks who are experienced enough with Genshin should know this, but I just want to make sure that the misinformation is not. I just want to clear the misinformation, because in the first place, the reason why I do math guides is really to clear the misinformation, and also for me myself to properly plan and optimize my characters. It's not because I love math. I don't love math per se. Okay. Okay. So thanks everyone for watching. If you like the content, remember my video and click subscribe for more. Bye.